The Prime Minister says he is being realistic. Canada would not have encouraged the U.S. and Israel to strike Iran, but Mark Carney is still backing those initial attacks.
That is not a blank check. That is not us participating. That is not us asking for something in exchange for that. None of that is true.
In fact, he says while Canada hasn't made a formal judgment, those initial strikes seem to violate global rules.
It appears that these actions are inconsistent with international law.
Donald Trump has had sharp words for some allies who have not backed his military campaign, but Carney says even with all those concerns, Canada is still ultimately supportive of those first U.S. actions because the Iranian regime is far worse.
Let's be realistic. This is a regime that is the biggest exporter of terror in the world, that has for decades terrorized the Middle East.
This conflict, he says, is yet another example of the international order failing. Now, Canada is calling for a ceasefire, but Carney seemed to acknowledge Canada's influence is limited.
That will take a broader diplomatic effort. That broader diplomatic effort will very much have to involve the countries in the Middle East that have been attacked now by Iran.
Still, some even within the Liberal Party say Carney has set a bad precedent and needs to call out Trump.
He is perpetrating lawlessness in his own country, and he's perpetrating lawlessness internationally. And Canada, for a long time, has always been standing up for those laws, and I think we look weak right now.
Some critics suggest Carney's failure to call out the U.S. contradicts his Davos speech on the world order. The Prime Minister says this is all just another example of dealing with the world as it is. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Sydney.